Today, we're diving into the story of a kingdom that, it had everything. We're talking wealth, power, a magnificent temple, and then, just like that, it lost it all. It's a story of an epic rise and a truly tragic fall, and it's all laid out in the Old Testament book of 2 Chronicles.
So, you might be thinking, what can a text that's literally thousands of years old really teach us today? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. The story of this ancient kingdom's rise and fall is this timeless tale of power, faith, and maybe most importantly, of consequences. So let's dive in.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is 2 Chronicles? It's the 14th book of the Old Testament, and it has a very specific focus. It's all about chronicling the history of the southern kingdom of Judah, from the absolute height of its power under King Solomon, all the way to its collapse and the Babylonian exile.
Now, the history of ancient Israel, it can get pretty complicated, right? But 2 Chronicles kind of keeps it simple. It focuses on just one kingdom, Judah, and one royal family, the descendants of King David. This laser focus gives the story a really clear and powerful narrative. This story kicks off at the absolute peak of the kingdom's power and influence, the reign of King Solomon. And right at the center of this golden age is one of the most famous structures in all of history.
And that structure is, of course, the legendary temple in Jerusalem. The story of 2 Chronicles basically kicks off with King Solomon building this incredible masterpiece. And you gotta understand, this temple isn't just a backdrop. It's the absolute heart of the entire story.
So what was the big deal about this temple? Well, it was so much more than just a beautiful building. It was the center of all religious life, believed to be the actual dwelling place of God on earth. And as we're about to see, the condition of the temple becomes this powerful symbol of the entire nation's spiritual health. So after Solomon, the book kind of shifts into this repeating pattern. It examines the long line of kings who followed him, and every single one is evaluated by one single crucial metric. And this right here, this is the core message of the entire book. It's a really simple formula. When the kings were faithful, the kingdom thrived. But when they strayed, things, well, they fell apart. And this cycle just repeats over and over and over again with each new king. Eventually, as you can probably guess, this cycle of disobedience reaches a breaking point. The consequences become absolutely catastrophic, leading to the darkest moment in Judah's history.
So here's how it all unfolds. We start with the golden age of King Solomon. That's the ideal. Then, we see this cycle of kings getting tested. Over time, though, disobedience just kind of becomes the new normal. And the final result? The complete destruction of Jerusalem and that magnificent temple.
The entire story builds towards its climax, the Babylonian exile. The kingdom is conquered and the people are carried off to Babylon. This wasn't just some military defeat. It was the loss of their home, their culture, their identity, all presented as the direct result of centuries of choices.
But the book doesn't end in total despair. See, it was written for a reason, for an audience that had actually lived through this whole tragedy and was now returning home. And it was designed to teach a really powerful lesson.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. 2 Chronicles isn't just a history book. It's a lesson. It's a massive cautionary tale that basically says, look at what happened, learn from these mistakes, or you are doomed to repeat them. But like I said, the story doesn't just end in despair. In fact, the final message is one of hope. It's a promise that even after the absolute darkest of times, there is a path to restoration, a chance to rebuild, to return, and to start all over again. Which brings us right back to our opening question, doesn't it? 2 Chronicles presents this incredibly clear link between choices, consequences, and the possibility of restoration. So the question it leaves for us is, what lessons can we draw today from these ancient stories of consequence and of hope?